I am back. Listen, Aquiles, I'm back like a bad rash. This is it. I'm back here. This is great to have you here at the Mapex Facebook page here. Today we feature Aquiles Priesta. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you. It's my pleasure. It's a huge honor to be here talking to you, the drum ambassador.
Oh man, this is, Aquiles, I go back many, many years, us playing. I remember when we played together in Colombia. We did a wonderful event in Colombia.
Yeah.
And that's the first time I heard you play many years ago, and you just totally blew me away. The way you organize your thoughts, the way you play, and the way you organize your drum setup is really smart. Well, I want to get into that too, but I mean, it's so great to have you here. And recently I heard you play at the Drumeo Festival. We're going to talk about that because you completely slayed everybody. Everybody was destroyed in the audience.
I have to tell you a funny story about the night before I played. You won't believe me.
What happened?
Actually, I was in the middle of the gas station tour, like without eating really well, without resting really well. So when I get there, I spent one entire day setting up my drum kit with my helpers, Dave Lawrence from Mapex
in Canada.
Yeah, and also Brent Barnett from Gibraltar. So we spent the Thursday. We spent all the Thursday setting up, and then in the morning of the Friday, I played with the drums, like just to get used to my new setup. And then at the night I was really tired, so I took some pills, sleeping pills.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, but I was like so excited to play, and to get to the stage. And as a heavy metal player, I never play in the morning, like 10 o'clock in the morning. So I just realized I have to sleep really well this night. So I took 2 pills, but I was too like excited, so I couldn't sleep. And in the morning, when I met you guys, you and Jared, and we were talking over the breakfast, I was totally sleeping. I was still sleeping. So when I was walking into the stage to start playing, I was still dizzy. So I get better after the second song. So I was totally like, I was putting like a pressure on my shoulder, like, don't fuck yourself right now, please. Do it well.
Well, I got to tell you something. Not only did you play great, but the crowd went crazy. What was funny is the night before, you were setting up your drums in like a warehouse next to the Drumeo studio.
Yeah.
And in that evening, you were playing and setting up the drums. Meanwhile, Jared was getting people saying, "What's all that noise coming from the studio at nighttime?" People were complaining. You were keeping everybody awake in the night. It was hysterical. Jared was showing me the emails. I said, forget about those people. Don't worry about it. It was hysterical, really hysterical.
I remember I think 2 guys, they opened the door and they start watching me playing. And I said, oh, they are enjoying what I'm playing, because I was playing some Brazilian stuff. So I didn't know that they were trying to talk to me to say, hey, please stop. I was just keeping playing. Yeah, that was funny.
We had great laughs. But again, at the Drumeo Festival, which of course Jared and his team, Dave Atkins and all these people here, Jared Falk is just fantastic with his vision of what he had. And this festival was incredible with all the drummers that were there. And they had asked me to play a little hi-hat solo before you played. So it went from this little hi-hat solo in the front of the curtain of me playing in a Papa Joe Jones and a Max Roach style. We finished it. Thank you very much. I introduce you. The curtains open up, and there is this
huge
drumming village. It's a freaking village that you have, Aquiles. And it's like, I want everyone to know that when you walk behind the drum set, there's a big swimming pool back there that he has. He does a couple laps of swimming before he plays.
Yeah, you introduced me just like that. That was funny. I was
It was
backstage laughing.
it was so great. I mean, the object is to have fun for sure, but I got to go back to the beginning. I mean, you were born in South Africa. You make the move at a young age to Brazil, and then you went to a festival that was the beginning stage that opened up your eyes to want to get involved with not only music, but some serious drumming. Just talk about that, if you would.
Okay. The first time when I was living in South Africa, I saw a drum set when I was about, I think I was like 4 years old. And I think that I saw a Bud Rich drum kit because there was like a 4-piece drum kit and the guy was playing jazz. So I remember that. And then when I arrived in Brazil, I started playing soccer. So until 18 years old, I was a professional soccer player.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and I remember that my coach, he told me, Aquiles, you have to decide, man, because, you know, you are playing drums and you are playing soccer, and both things are, you need to give yourself more and more. So you have to pick one, you know. And I started playing drums when I was 14 years old, watching the first Rock in Rio festival. That was something that put Brazil on the map of the music business, you know. So I remember that I saw a Brazilian guy playing with his band. His name is João Baroni, still one of the biggest guys in Brazil. He got the attention of the regular audience to the drums, you know. He was the first guy that people were paying attention in one drummer, you know. And they were playing at the Rock in Rio festival, and you know, I didn't know how to play drums at that time, but he kept my attention because the way that he was playing was so beautiful, you know. The setup was huge. He was playing Paiste already at that time. So, and he was using like all the cymbals really, really high, you know, so the sound was beautiful, you know. I saw that, and then I was comparing him with the other drummers. I said, well, this guy, like, he has a better sound, like, compared with the others, you know. And at that time I wasn't playing drums, you know. So that was something that's still the same nowadays. João Baroni, he's still playing. The band has almost 40 years now, and they still huge. They still play. So this was my beginning. So I set up a drum set in the backyard of my home in Iguaçu Falls, where I used to live, and I put a lot of like cans, you know, gas gallons, this kind of stuff. So I was that's how I started playing, and then I start stealing some little snares from my school. So then I had like my first drum kit. That was a kind of mix of one stolen snare drum plus some cans and some gallons, this kind of stuff. That's how I started.
That's amazing. Well, to be inspired at that moment, I mean, there are many stories in my generation where people saw the Beatles on the Ed Sullivan Show and they were inspired by that woman. It's amazing how one moment can just completely change your life forever.
Absolutely. Yeah, this is, I can see here some people that we know. Nina Pará, Tarek Dian, they are all good friends.
Look at this one here.
Felipe Drago is here. Cool.
Felipe Drago is here.
Oh, look here.
Joshua.
Cool.
All the way from South Africa. You've got some great players, that are people that are here that are kind of, and all these great people. Stephen Kelly has joined us. Carlos Gutzman is here. There's so many great people. They're all joining us now, and I'm sure there are going to be tons of questions coming in. Let's go back now to your first drum set. How'd you get your first drum set and put that together?
Actually, my first drum set. After that, we start playing some songs from another band in Brazil called Ultraje a Rigor, that they were huge at that time. And then we were doing these little parties, like playing along with the records, and we were just pretending to play. We were not playing, but we were getting the attention of the girls. That was the most important thing at that time. That's how I started, because I just realized wow, I think this way, if I'm playing drums, I can get much more attention from the girls. So I'm gonna keep doing this. Maybe I can get better. And then when I start playing, at that time in Iguaçu Falls, in Foz do Iguaçu, we didn't have, like, the city was really small, and I was trying to study drums, but we didn't have like a teacher in the city. So you so the only way for you to learn is it's just playing along with the records.
Wow.
So then I joined in a band, and I couldn't afford to have a drum set at that time. So the bass player, he bought a used drum kit, like regular piece, like 12, 13, 16, based
Yeah.
on 22. And that's how I started. There was a Brazilian brand called Taiko, very, 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 very basic stuff. There was a kind of concert tones, without the bottom drum head. But
Yeah.
that's how I started. And at that time, I didn't have like boom stands or any kind of stand. So I used to put my cymbals on the seal like this with some
string and rope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That thing that you used to
Like a bungee cord.
to put in the back of yes, exactly. Yeah, stretches. So I used to put that on the ceiling. So every time when I was hitting the cymbals, I had to put my head down because the cymbal was moving like this. So I need to. At that time, I was learning how to play and how to stop the cymbal before I hit the cymbal again. I was making magic.
Hey, it's amazing you didn't chop your head off at the same time.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, exactly. And that was at that time I realized that I should have a drum tech just to stop the cymbal. You know? Not to set up my drums because it's too small, but just to stop the cymbal.
As a lifesaver. Good thinking. Exactly right. So here you are playing. Who were you listening to at the time that was influencing you? What music were you listening to?
Basically, just the Brazilian drummers from the Brazilian rock scene.
Right.
So at that time, like in 84, 85, I was just into this kind of music. And then in 1986, my life changed because of this record. The Somewhere in Time album.
Yeah. Nico McBrain stepped into your world.
Yes, exactly. So then, and you know what is funny? Because the first time when I watched them on the TV during the Rock in Rio one, I hate the music. I said, wow, this guy, he's always singing high notes, like heavy guitars. I couldn't get that kind of music at that time. And 1 year later, I listened to the first song of this album called Somewhere in Time, and that song just got me, And I called the radio station and asked them, what is the song that you just played? And they said, this is the new song of Iron Maiden. I said, no way. Iron Maiden, no, it's not possible because I hate this band. And now I'm in love with this music. So I went to the shop and I bought a cassette, a little cassette, because I didn't
cassette tape.
A cassette tape, yeah, because I didn't have the turntable to buy the vinyl, vinyl and turntables at that point was something that, just rich people used to have that kind of stuff. So I just had like a small stereo that was from my brother, and that's how I start listening to Iron Maiden. That I was listening to that tape over and over and over again, like listen side A and then side B, side A, side B, like never stop. And then I just fell in love with Iron Maiden music, and then I start buying all the records, and I never stopped. So my main goal in 86 was one day maybe play with Nico, maybe knowing Nico in the future, playing drums with a heavy metal band. That was my goal in 1986. In 2006, I was playing in the London Drum Show in England, and the host was Nico McBrain. So
Woo!
that was the first time that I met him, and Kelly Paiste introduced me to him and said, "Hey, this is a huge fan, Aquiles Priester from Brazil, blah blah blah," and he gave me a hug, and that hug, it seems that all the 20 years from 1986 to 2006 like went by my mind, and I said, "Oh, I just live like all the seconds during this 20 years to be here and to receiving this hug now." So that moment for me was something like that I was not expecting to live in this lifetime.
But Aquiles, this is what I call the global dream. Everyone has a dream, no matter what country you're in. The global dream, where if you have that kind of a vision and you have that kind of an influence, from 86 to 2006, it took 20 years for that dream to become a reality of you meeting Nico and having that level of relationship with him. And I've known Nico for many, many years. He's a dear friend. He is a phenomenal drummer. He really is absolutely brilliant. He's a legend. He's a legend's legend. He really is. But interesting is yesterday you had him on your interview show.
Yeah.
And I popped in on the YouTube channel to check it out. And here he is, Nico. Here you are there interviewing him. This is so magical.
It is. It's, for me, still unbelievable that I have the numbers of people like you, like Nico, like Dean Castronovo, like Mike Portnoy, and also like my teachers, João Baroni, Kiko Freitas, all those people that are so important and so inspiring to my drumming life, So this is unbelievable. I'm so grateful for everything that I achieved during my musical journey. So I'm totally blessed, to know.
Well,
like
guys. Let me tell you something. You have earned this. You have put in some serious time into practicing, playing. When you mentioned the gas station tour, people have to understand what that means.
What is this? Yeah.
The gas station tour is when you're in a car and you stop to get gas and you eat and you keep going till you get to the next gig. You set up, you play, the people go crazy. Thank you very much. Hello, goodbye. You sleep maybe in a hotel or maybe in the bus. You go to the next thing. You stop at the gas station. You get some gas.
Yeah, it's not a bus. It's not a tour bus. It's a van.
It's a van.
So I was lucky because I told Tony and his manager I need a row of seats because I need to lay down. I cannot stand just like this during all the day without sleeping. I need to rest my back. Otherwise, I cannot play. They gave me a row so I could lay down and maybe sleep a little bit when the car was moving. But every day, and especially with this kind of music, instrumental music, it's very hard to have a market. So you can't have a day off, be where you are paying for your expenses. You have to make shows almost every day to keep the profit coming.
Yeah. Well, this is very, very important. But that's the business side that you do so well also, where you really organized how to be with these bands, how to make money, how to monetize it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go back a little bit to your lessons. When you started taking lessons, you're studying with teachers in Brazil, and were you working on reading, technique? What were you practicing?
Okay, so the first, I had some class with a guy for 8 months. He's from the south of Brazil, Porto Alegre, and he's called Mimo Aires. And then I studied for 3 months more with another guy. He was more into the rock stuff, but he's a legend in the south of Brazil. He's called Taba. And then finally, I got the chance to study with Kiko Freitas. That is one of the greatest drummers that we have in Brazil. And I remember at that time, to study with Kiko, you had to wait something like 6 to 8 months to get to the point to have the chance to have the class with him. And in the first class, he told me, Aquiles, I know you for a while. I know that you are a rock guy, you play metal, this kind of stuff. But I just want to tell you that if you don't study, I won't keep you here. If you do your part, um, in this process, then we're gonna keep working together, because I need you to do your part, because then I
Beautiful.
can keep inspired, and we can still keeping together, working together. We can
Smart, very smart.
yeah. So then, because he told me, I want to have this relation with people that wants to take the drums seriously. So I understood that, and then I told him I want to play heavy metal, but I want to put your kind of technique, your kind of style
Yeah,
into
yeah,
the metal stuff. And he said,
yeah,
"Whoa, this is totally different, because every time when people approach me here, they want to play Brazilian stuff or jazz stuff. But I think that since drums is something that is global, you can use for whatever you want. You can get my technique, you can learn my technique, and you can put this into your style." So
yeah,
that was my vision at that time. Since I was a heavy metal player, I didn't want to study with a guy that was playing the same kind of music that I was studying, that I was
yeah.
playing. So I just had this vision that I need to get something different to put this into my world. So that's how it happened. And I remember that when I start studying with Kiko, we spent 7 months just with a practice pad, and just practice pad, metronome, reading. He was teaching me all this, like, because at that time I didn't know how to play anything,
Yeah,
just single
yeah,
strokes.
yeah.
That's all. I didn't know how to play a double stroke roll. So he gave me like the first lessons, and he taught me everything
Yeah, yeah,
about how to study, how to practice, the routine, everything. And we were always talking about things related to music, because he was one of the first guys in the south of Brazil that was dealing with brands, with sponsorship, this kind of situation. So he was the first guy that was dealing with the market as a professional.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
sometimes, during the class, we were just talking, and that classes were the most incredible ones, because you
But
were you were you were you were like, you are in the middle of situation that you are not ready to get there, you are not ready to leave that, but
yeah,
you
yeah,
are learning how to be in that kind of market in the
yeah.
future. So he was an amazing teacher, not just like about the technical stuff, but also about the how to make a living as a drummer and as a professional.
Boy, it's so amazing how many great drummers are in Brazil. I mean,
Mhm.
you mentioned Nina Para, Felipe
Yeah,
Drago, who's now living in
yeah,
London. You mentioned
uh-huh,
Vera Figueiredo. I mean, all these phenomenal, great, great people that I have met throughout there. But when I go to Brazil and I meet
uh-huh.
all these original Brazilian players that come in there, their technique is great, their musicality is great, they play great. You kind of took all of that and put that into freaking heavy metal.
Yeah, that's the idea. Yeah.
That's a whole different world of what you've done. You broke the barrier of bringing that Brazilian music to the world in the metal industry. It's
Ye-
incredible.
Yeah, and you know what is funny? Because as a metal player, like, usually people don't care about the metal players, because they think that you are limited, that you just play four
Right.
by four, this kind of stuff. But I have an amazing relationship with all the drummers in Brazil,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
I respect everyone. I love Vera, I love Kiko, I love all the drummers that are in my live shows. We are doing these live shows daily, so it's the way that to keep the music
yeah,
flowing, you know
yeah,
and
yeah,
this is something that we have been doing every day. We are always talking with two different drummers, and we are talking about music and the situation of this music. It doesn't matter what style they
right,
play. It's the
right,
situation that the students, they need to know, because we are helping people, and we are giving some information that they cannot find in
right.
in in books and in in other places. But we are sharing experience with the drummers that are professional, and they are making a living by playing music. So this is really cool, really cool.
But what you're doing is so well to keep this totally alive in what you're doing. Now that the pandemic is here and people have been restricted in their movement, how have you adapted to now not being on the road and now being home in your studio? What's changed?
So basically, you know, every time when I was here in LA, I was always inside my practice room, just getting ready for the next tour. So
Yeah.
you know, I was not. I think since I moved here in 2016, it's 4 years now. I never spent 4 months here in LA. I was always like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, at least a month, and then I was going on tour
Out.
again. So this is the first time that I'm here, and I have been learning a lot of different things because I set up a, a, a recording studio inside my practice room. So basically, I'm recording myself every day, and this is really good because you can hear better what you are playing. So I'm becoming a better drummer, like, and I'm almost turning 50 years old. So this is something that it's amazing because you know that you can always improve. If you study something different, you can always improve.
Yeah.
So you know, so basically with this quarantine, I have learned how to record myself, how to mix myself, and also how to edit myself with 3 cameras. And this is something that I
interesting.
never done before. I was always working with some friends. They were editing my videos, they were recording myself, they were mixing my stuff, and now I'm doing this. So almost every day I'm posting something new. So it doesn't matter that I don't have a tour. I don't know when I'm going to play live again, but I'm keeping myself a very tight schedule, and I'm going to my practice room every day, and I spend like 4-5 hours a day. On the weekends, I spend even more time because I don't have the live shows. All the live shows we are doing like from Monday to Thursday. On Friday, we are not doing anything because in Brazil, we call that in Friday, like people love to do something like to take care of themselves, like party, this kind of stuff, or barbecue, or having some drinks. And when we have something special lives, we do this on Saturday and on Sunday. So basically, I'm busy every day, but I'm still going to my practice room every day. And every day when we are doing this live shows, I'm always doing my research to know what to talk about people that we are receiving, that we are hosting. Because I don't want to talk like bullshit or just those kind of regular questions. Okay, what are you doing during your quarantine? What's changed? You know, this kind of stuff. You need to know about that people that you were talking about, you know.
But you're doing the right kind of research, Aquiles, and this is so important because it's the research by doing these seminars. The fact that Mapex gives us the opportunity on their Facebook page to allow someone like yourself to the spoken word is so powerful. And we've got so many great people here. Check out this guy here, Moro here.
This is my friend. This is my Brazilian friend, and he lives here.
He lives here in LA. Well, he says it's good to hear about. You're talking about Porto Alegre, all the great relationships of the southern part of Brazil. And Brazil is a huge country. Huge. And in the north, there's some great drummers there. It's pretty amazing to see all the different drummers that are there. But the fact that you mentioned this great history of this great country is really, that's just beautiful.
There's another friend of us here, Eloy Jr. Eloy Jr.
Let me go over here.
He's your student.
Yes. Eloy is fantastic, man. He is such a great dedicated student. He is based here in Connecticut. We do some lessons every few Saturdays, and we have some great sessions that we do. He is a phenomenal student, but you know, it's powerful.
Yeah, we became a friend in Brazil when I was giving some classes to him, and when I left Brazil to live here, I used to put my truck in my trailer in the basement of his house, and
of his house
for free. Yeah, for free, totally for free. So he's a good friend.
Eloy would tell me, he said he would go out to that car and he would wipe down the car to make sure there was no dust on it and no scratches to make sure it was exactly the way you wanted it.
Yeah, and this is the way that I keep, you know, all my drums, all my gear. I don't care that I'm receiving all this gear for free, but I take care like the same way that I was buying every stuff, you know, because in the
Yeah.
past I used to buy this, so I was
Yeah.
taking care of this. And I remember that I was setting up my drum set, my small drum set with gloves. When I was playing in cover bands, when we had that break before start playing again, I was always cleaning my drums, while the other guys, they were trying to reach some chicks, and I was always taking care of my drums.
That is
Yeah.
true dedication. But even at Drumeo, your drums were clean. I could have eaten off of your drums. They were so clean the way they were. My gosh. Talk
Yeah,
about your drums then.
I
Talk,
I
talk,
always I always teach my drum techs like I don't do the sound check without the drum heads totally clean. So
yeah,
we
yeah,
have a product that they have to clean up the drum sets,
yeah,
the all the drum set, and especially the drum heads. I don't want to do the sound check with my drum heads dirty. And they said, okay, what about if you do if you do the sound check, and then after the sound check I can clip? No, you are going to clean up my drum set before I start doing the drum, the sound check. And after the sound check, if you need it, you're gonna clean up them again, all the time. So I teach my techs to respect the history of my sponsor and my
yeah,
relationship with my sponsor. So this is something that I care about a lot. The way that people are going to see my drum set on stage, it must be totally clean
yeah,
with, the the my co-workers, they need to respect my history and
yeah.
everything that I have been doing to get to the point to have a huge drum set like that, and to have the relationship that I have with my sponsors. So, if the people, like, if I had some bad drum techs in the past, but when they don't get it the way that I approach my music career, it seems like we cannot work together. That's all.
Yeah.
It's
So,
very easy. And this is another monster. This guy here,
oh,
Ramon
fantastic.
Montaner, he's a monster, Brazilian monster.
He says here, is it true that you celebrate your drum set's birthday with a cake and candles?
This is not true. Sorry, Felipe. This is not true. Yeah,
Talk about your,
Felipe, he's a guy that he used to live in Porto Alegre. And at
yeah.
that time, when I was doing like the big shows, with my band, I used to rent his drum set to play the show, because that
Oh,
was a huge moment. So I was renting his drum set. He used to have a drum set with 3 toms and 1 floor tom set. That was huge. That was
yeah,
amazing.
yeah. Yeah, he's a wonderful player, and he's living now in London.
Yeah.
And Felipe came to study with me for an entire week. He came out here, phenomenal player. He's written a book, played drums. He's really done so much well. And his hero was Billy Cobham. And what's amazing is he had a chance to meet his hero, Billy Cobham. So it was really pretty powerful that you guys have put some serious dedication into this art form that is so inspiring. Talk about your drum set now. Your drum set has some different sizes in what you do. You've got a real unique sound. When I looked at your drum set, I said, what the heck alien from what planet designed this kit? Talk about that kit for a second.
So I start playing, like, I can tell that the basic kit that I need, it's 3 rack toms, 2 floor toms, and 2 bass drums. This is the basic. So, and even if I remove like 1 floor tom, I can play the stuff. But I remember that when I was playing, when I start adding more toms, smaller toms, I tried the 6-inch, but that was too small. I couldn't hit like in the center of that small tom, especially because I set up that tom on the top of my head. So the distance from the snare from the first tom was kind of different from the snare to the 10-inch that is right in front of me.
Right.
So then I decide, okay, why not then use 2 8 toms with different depth?
Right.
Okay, that's how I came up with this idea of having 2 8 toms. And you you cannot see many players playing with
Sure.
two rack toms with the same sizes, but with just a different depth.
Different
You know,
depth. Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
That,
yeah.
and then I tune like them, like the first one a little bit higher than the second one, and then I used to play some Brazilian stuff in the in my main snare, if in my 14-inch snare. But
Yeah.
then I decided in 2003 to add a 10-inch snare to play some maracatu, some forró, that kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
basically, I came up with this idea back in 2003, and after that, I just add one more small timbale in my right side, closer to my second hi-hat, and then to add that one, that little timbale that is a 6-inch, I had to ask Paiste to manufacture for me a smaller ride cymbal, and that's how I I come up with this idea of having a 18-inch ride cymbal with the bell of one 24-inch. That was the same size of bell. And I remember when I was about to record my second DVD from 2010, The Infallible Reason of My Freak Drummer. And this name is strange because I'm mixing like songs from an album that is called Infallible and
Right.
Free Keys. That was a kind of joke with free keys from keyboards. That is a friend of mine that invited me to record this. So that's why I call this DVD Infallible Reason of My Freak Drumming. And also
Beautiful.
the reason is because another album that I record with my band Hangar called The Reason of Your Conviction. So I mix up the three albums to have this title. So people
Beautiful.
don't understand that, but that's why. So when I was recording that DVD, I came up with this idea of putting this little timbale, and then
Yeah.
I asked Paiste to manufacture this 18-inch ride cymbal, but the bell's still huge. It's something like a 24-inch
24
bell.
bells. It's big. It's a
Yeah,
big
it's a
belly. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
And then the guys from Paisi, they said, Achilles, I don't know if we're gonna be able to do this because the body of the right cymbal is not gonna sound really nice like the other rides that we have. And then I told them I don't care about the body because I just play the bell. So they
Yeah,
said,
yeah.
oh, if you just play the bell, we can try something different. So they sent me 5 different prototypes, and then I choose one. And then I record that DVD with 2 rides. And then people, when I released that was the first, and this is a really cool story. That was the first year that I came to the NAM show, and that was
Yeah.
2010. Okay.
Yeah.
And I remember that I was totally broke, like no money at all, because I was recording the DVD, I was recording the album of my band, and at that time we were about to start a tour with a tour bus, with our own tour bus that another company gave me. So we were putting all the money in this project. So I was
Yeah.
totally broke, and I said, "Oh my God, should I go now and try to find a company that could release this DVD worldwide and maybe go to the next level at this point, or should I wait until next year,
Yeah.
2011?" And I said, no, I have to go right now. So
Good.
I make like a kind of I bought my ticket in 6 times in my credit card, and I went
Yeah.
here, and I came to the NAM show at that year. And I remember when I got here for the first time, I made a promise for me. I saw all those drums, and I saw like many artist drums like displayed in some booth, and I said one day I'm gonna have my drum set displayed here. And,
That's right.
and this happened last year in
Yeah.
2019. I had my drum set on the corner of the main entrance of the NAM show. So this was something really, really important for my career. And I
Yeah.
remember the guys from Mapex, they told me, I never saw a Mapex drum kit that people were paying so much attention and taking so many pictures. I said, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
It was amazing, and the drum set is so unique the way you set it up. But just talk about the bass drums. How deep are the bass drums? How big are the bass drums?
They are 22 by 18.
22 by 18, yeah.
18. So and about my ride cymbal, I remember that when I released that DVD worldwide, a lot of people start asking me about the ride cymbals. How can I get this ride cymbal? How can I get this ride cymbal? And I said, well, this is prototype, but if you want, maybe you can talk to Paiste. And then I sent the I told people to write to like a marketing email from Paiste asking for that right symbol. And like 1 year later, Eric Paiste, he called me and said, Aquiles, we are receiving a lot of messages from the fans asking for this right. I think we should put this online, you know, in a regular line. And maybe if you want, we can release your signature ride, you know. So that's how this idea, like that was not my idea to have a signature ride to sell them, you know, to sell the ride to the fans. That was basically for my use, you know. And since the fans start asking me about that ride, that's how we came up with this idea of launching my ride symbol as a regular ride. And we are selling well, almost 9 years selling the ride symbol, and I'm
unbelievable. Unbelievable. But listen, your passion and you're just so driven to try new things and new ideas in what you're doing, and because of your upbringing and your musical influence, you're putting this all together. And whether it's the drums or cymbals or whatever you're doing, you're making a huge wave of change in the drumming industry.
Yeah, this is, and you know, this is not something that I didn't plan that, you know, all the stuff. It was just happening because the way that I'm approaching my drum set, you know, trying to improve, trying to find different ways to play the music that I play. So this is why my drumming life is real, because I'm still making a living of my drumming and of the kind of music that I play, that I love. So this is not something that I planned in the past. I need to be this kind of drummer. I need to reach this every year. It's just something that I'm living day by day, you know.
But that's what's so real and so honest about it. You really are a hardworking, dedicated drummer that believes so much in what you're doing, and the companies trust you so much. You have built up such a great integrity and respect in the industry. And it's really amazing because you've lifted the metal industry up to a whole nother level. Well, now people are looking at metal drummers way more seriously than they ever did before. Really. And that's because you're educated, you're honest, you're open-minded, you're trying new ideas, you're bringing different influences like Brazilian music into the metal stuff. There's a lot going on that you're doing.
Thank you so much. And I remember a conversation that I had with Joe Hibbs. Rest in peace, my brother. I love you so much. I remember since 2003, every year I was making a book with all my clippings, you know, with my magazine stuff, like newspaper. Every time when I was playing in some different city in Brazil, I was keeping this. And by the end of the year, I was putting all together, you know, and it's like huge books like this. And I was sending this to all my sponsors. So I was sending to the dealers in Brazil, and also I was giving to them to send to the brands outside of Brazil. And for some of the brands like Mapex and Paiste, these brands that are core brands, for me, I used to send them like directly to Joe Hibbs. And I remember that the first time that I met Joe Hibbs, that was in 2005, when I was with Eloy Casagrande. That at that time he was my student, and he was playing as a younger drummer at the Modern Drummer 2005. So I was there, and that was the first time that I met Joe Hibbs. And I said, "Hey Joe, I want to play here in this festival one day, you know, because at that time, at that edition, I saw Jason Bittner and Chris Adler playing. So they are metal
Yes.
players. And I said,
Yeah.
I'm a metal player. I want to play here. And then Joe Hibbs told me, okay, Achilles, we need to build a plan, you know, because people need to know you more here in the United States to make this happen. So every year I was sending this book to Joe Hibbs. And I remember that in 2011, before we played at the Modern Drummer Festival, because I played in the last edition of the Modern Drummer Festival in 2011. And thank God that was all made by Mr. Joe Hibbs. He put me there. He was great. So, and I remember, you know, when I was giving these books to Joe Hibbs every name show, he was saying this to me, Achilles, you don't have to do this anymore because people know who you are already. You know, this is good for people that the brands, they don't know, but everyone knows you in this music industry. And I said, you know why I'm keep doing this for you, Joe? And I said, why? Because then I told him, because every time when I gonna ask for a new drum set, you will never say no. And he said, you are right. So that kind of book, you know, people remind that kind of stuff, because I remember the way that Joe Hibbs was watching when he was folding that book. He was saying, I never seen this before in 25 years working in this industry. So this was the same thing in Brazil. You know, people were not getting, like people were not used to that kind of work. That kind of position, like taking that so serious like that. So and of course, when you are the first guy that are doing this, it doesn't matter that all the industry start doing that, you know, because you are the first one. So people gonna remember that.
You're gonna remember that. Exactly right. Exactly right. You know, it's amazing. You mentioned Joe Hibbs. Joe Hibbs, I knew Joe Hibbs for over 40 years. He was a dear friend of mine. And when we lost him too soon. But he was the kind of person, when he saw talent, he knew how to fine-tune that talent and help out. An amazing person that he was, and he will always be remembered. I want to bring on Brandon Koo right now. Brandon Koo is a wonderful drummer from Singapore, another Mapex player. He says, drumming is extremely physical, almost like an athlete. I don't know how Aquiles does it, and I witness it. You're like it's drumming Olympics when you're playing. Simply amazing. Does Aquiles have a workout regimen? Do you have a workout schedule that you work at? And I know you were just running this morning.
Yes, exactly. I hate workouts. I'm not the gym guy at all. And people always ask me, how do you keep the stamina? Actually, I run because I was a soccer player. So I used to run during all my life. So every time when I'm touring, I remember like when I was touring with Wasp in 2017 in Europe, when you have that kind of situation that you have a good crew, a good structure, so you have a good drum tech, you have all the day, you know, free. So I was running every day in the morning or in the afternoon, and then I was resting before the show, taking a little nap, and then I was ready for the show. So basically I run almost every day. And the way that I practice double bass is totally different from the other drummers, I think. Because it doesn't matter if I have the sounds, if the songs like with 180 BPMs, 170, 185, 190. Usually people play 60 notes just in the chorus, in the sum of the parts, and the rest of the song they use different patterns. But when I'm practicing the song to get endurance, I played all the way the song with 60 notes. You know, 60 notes. So all the way the song. It doesn't matter if the recording is not like that. Just to get endurance, I play like all the songs with the same beat, with the same 60 notes pattern. So I just stop. Sometimes I just stop to make the fills when I have linear fills. When I have like 60 note fills, I keep the bass drumming. So this is kind of things that I'm posting on my Facebook page to show people how I practice this kind of situation. So basically, and I'm kind of, people don't get it, but sometimes I play the same song for 45 minutes.
Yeah.
The same way. 45
Same way.
minutes. Yes. So this is how I prepare myself for a tour. You know, I play the entire set list without non-stop, like without stopping the bass drums. You know, when I'm able to do that, it's because I'm able to do the tour. Because when you are doing the tour, you are not resting really well. You are not sleeping well. You are not eating well. Sometimes you have 5 shows in a row, like sleeping in a van, you know. So you need to be prepared. So and when you are prepared here, you can win the battle, because you know that you are able to play that. So even when you are tired, you know that you are able to play the show.
How do you prepare mentally?
That, like this way, like when you know that you are able to play that, like in the moments, like when I was walking into the stage of Drumeo, where I was kind of dizzy because that sleeping pill, I was keeping my mind safe, just repeating to myself, hey, you are able to do this because you prepare yourself for many years. You know, you have been doing this, and you played shows like when you are much more tired than you are now. So just, you know, believe in yourself and trust yourself that you are ready to do this. So I used to calm down myself before a show, especially when I'm tired. You know, I just remember the last time that I played that song and how many hours I played that song before I get to the stage. And especially this songs that you record like 15 years ago, that is totally different for you to play right now. After like 15 years playing the same songs, it's different for my body nowadays that I'm almost 50, at the time that I was 35, you know. You need to pay more attention. You need to be much more prepared there in the past. When you are young, you don't have to sleep, and you're gonna be able to play the same way when you have entire night sleeping. But nowadays, resting, it's very important. Sometimes it's much more important than eat well, it's rest well.
Yeah, boy, that's very, very good. You know, it really is amazing, Aquiles, not only what you have done, but what you're continuing to do. You're balancing all this together. You're keeping the momentum forward. You've got the energy. You've got the excitement. When you play 110% of who you are. It's unbelievable. You gave everything. The only thing you didn't give was blood, and that was coming close to it, okay? It really was amazing to experience. I mean, it really was fantastic, and the Mapex family loves you. They are so thankful that what you do is how you represent the product. You represent it so professionally well.
Thank you.
You really have, and you have fresh ideas on how you're even designing the drums and what you're doing with it. It really is very creative. It's very honest. Your integrity, your respect. You really are a great role model for future drummers to have. You really are, man. It really is great to see. And I thank you for that, because as I travel and meet many drummers around the world, when they mention your name, it's always mentioned at the highest level. And whether it's at a festival like the La Rioja Festival, or whether it's like Modern Drummer Festival, or whether it's like Drumeo Festival, you're there giving all you can give all the time. And that is huge.
That's amazing. Thank you so much, Tom. And I remember that we spoke on Friday about Mapex, and I can tell you, you know, I have been playing Mapex for almost 20 years. It's just part of my life, you know. It's something that when I'm playing in big festivals, and when I cannot play with my drum set and I have to play with another drum set, it doesn't matter the brand. It doesn't matter how good is that drum set and how amazing is that brand. It's just not my sound. I don't feel comfortable.
Absolutely. You have your sound. You have your sound, man, in what you've done. And Mapex is appreciative for it. You know, we could go on talking for hours. You have been fantastic, this interview. This interview will go on the Mapex YouTube channel. It's on their Facebook page. So many people have joined us here. Pedro Barahoma from Chile. So many people from all around the world.
Let me tell you just one more thing about my passion for Mapex. I know that nowadays there's just a few drummers that use a 14 by 12 or by 11 rack tom. I'm not talking about floor tom. And Mapex, they keep doing this for me, especially for me, because I played with a 14 by 12 or 11 rack tom. And I cannot replace that one for a 13 that is more usual for drummers. So that's, that's what I'm talking about respect, about a brand that understand the music that you are playing for so many years, and they keep doing this, especially for you, because you are a different player. So, this is why I love Mapex, because I know that everyone knows in the Mapex family, and especially in the factory, and also in the business in general. People from Mapex, they know my passion about the brand, and they respect. So this is really nice, and that's why I'm so grateful.
Well, again, you've earned it. They love you. Mapex loves you. All the companies love you. You are a great, great energy. Stay safe in this crazy time where the world is at. Hanger, good luck with all you're doing, the books, the DVDs, all your projects and CDs. Thank you so much, Aquiles.
Thank you so much. Thank
what
you so
a pleasure.
Much. Thank you. And I need to invite you for our show, because Brazilian guys love you, and we need to do an interview over there as well.
Anytime, man. I am there for you, man. Thank you so much.
Can I just send a message to all the Brazilian guys that are here?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay. Galera do Brasil, obrigado por todo o apoio de vocês aqui. Sempre sensacional representar o Brasil. Obrigado por todos vocês aqui, muitos brasileiros, e eu amo todos vocês. Thank you so much, Tom, for your time. That was a wonderful way to start my week.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Aquiles. Good luck, man. Thank you very much. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye-bye. Bye.